things on social media, but CBS News anchor Scott Pelley is suggesting Republicans may be partly to blame.
It's time to ask whether the attack on the United States Congress yesterday was foreseeable, predictable, and to some degree self-inflicted. Too many leaders and political commentators who set an example for us to follow have led us into an abyss of violent rhetoric, which, it should be no surprise, has led to violence.
Now, Mercedes, if this isn't media bias against Republicans, I don't know what is.
I think for the mainstream media, it's always the Republicans' fault. You can go back to the Gabby Giffords shooting, to now what we have seen with Congressman Scalise and the shooting that happened there. You know, Eric, it just gets old. It gets to a point where when you look at the language that so many in the left use, celebrities included, journalists as well. I mean, we just saw Joy Reid tweet out recently, basically attacking Scalise's voting record while the man is still in the hospital. I mean, when does it end? And many of these politicians on the left push forward this, that the president is going to kill you, that the health care bill is going to kill you, building up all this hate language. And I think it's incredibly harming and getting into penetrating our culture and our society that could lead to these violent acts from these deranged individuals.
Right. And David, liberals, Hollywood liberals are the ones who have the heightened rhetoric, yet now Pelley calls it potentially self-inflicted on Scalise. So that's insanity.
Well, I would say for all of us, the viewers included, that, look, you know, we have a congressman lying in recovery in a near-death experience through the shooting, and I think that we might want to abstain from making political hay on either side, and we might want to, on behalf of cashing in and us, send some flowers to him and his family in his recovery. I also will say that, look, a crazy person on the left or shooter on the left is as crazy as a shooter on the right.
My point was that Pelley was blaming Scalise while he lays in a hospital bed, blaming him as self-inflicted. No, I think it was the crazy SOB who shot him on that baseball field.
And we should,
Go ahead, hang on, David. I want to get to this because this is very important to me.
Sure.
Take a listen to this. Lisa, you can weigh in on this. Is Johnny Depp, the actor, who had some really outrageous comments this week.
I'm not insinuating anything. By the way, this is going to be in the press. It'll be horrible. But I like that you're all a part of it. When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
Unbelievable. Lisa, and he goes on to say later in that commentary, and maybe it's time someone should.
Yeah, it's disgusting, and shame on Johnny Depp. And look, to David's point, I really wish that the left and the media did that back in 2011, because I certainly remember working for a Tea Party member on Capitol Hill when Gabby Giffords was shot, and it was the media by an 8-to-1 margin blaming conservatives, despite the fact that the shooter had absolutely zero connection to the Tea Party or the right. And the New York Times just a week ago still ran an editorial trying to make that claim despite any evidence at all. And look, yes, this shooter alone is responsible for his attempted assassination of Republicans. But we have also seen a long list of violence being taken place against the right without condemnation from the left or leaders, including a firebombing of a North Carolina GOP office, a 71-year-old staffer of Dana Rohrabacher being knocked to the ground unconscious, a Republican member of Congress driven off the road because of health care. So yes, that shooter is alone responsible for his actions, but we also have to be paying attention to all of this other stuff going along. And Daily Caller did a good job collecting a long list of things that have been happening in this country.
Right. I'm going to get Gina in here. Gina, you can weigh in on either Scott Pelley's commentary, self-inflicted by Scalise, or that insane comment. Johnny Depp, really, forget an apology to the president. I mean, his supporters need to push back on him hard.
Well, I hope that the Secret Service goes after him hard. I mean, this kind of thing used to be really punishable, and you wonder now, I didn't see any real fallout for Madonna when she talked about blowing up the White House, or any of the other inferences of violence that very well may have actually inspired the shooting at the congressional baseball game. And so I think if you line it up, Eric, side by side, referring to what Lisa said, line it up side by side and look at how many acts actual solicitations of violence have ever come out of anyone famous on the right. And you hold that up to the media and Hollywood left. And also, by the way, elected officials who've said things on the left that are completely intolerable. And I will tell you that list far, far exceeds anything the right
We're going to give
ever
David
said
the last word here. Go ahead, David.
If I might add, that, look, it is disgusting, both the charged rhetoric and so forth, and we had now Congressman-elect Handel quote and label it as disgusting the Republican ads aired on her behalf, associating the shooter with her opponent and the unhinged left. So it's got to stop on all sides.
He was
Republicans are calling for it, as the congressman elect had done. We should be calling for the same. And
the Republicans would not call for the assassination of Obama. End of story.
Well,
the mere fact that that word assassination is being mentioned by celebrities is uncalled for. It should not be tolerated on our society.
And nor should punching anybody in a rally or other instances. Let's bring it down a notch. Let's bring it down a notch.
And it's unacceptable. Unacceptable to be talking about the assassination of the President of the United States.
Absolutely. That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. We're going to have to leave it right there. We ran out of time. Sorry. Coming up.